Well, that was sudden, wasn't it? Good morning, everyone. Welcome to Talking Horses. He is the Big A, Anthony Stabile. I'm Andy Sterling. Welcome to Aqueduct. It's opening day here at Aqueduct. We had to move our studios around a little bit, but it's nice to be up on our third floor studio for a beautiful day for opening day.
Yeah, nice day, right around 60 degrees back in Queens.
Oh, a weather report, a full weather report. Do you want to give any other stuff?
We're fast and firm. Some puffy clouds in the sky.
Do you want to give the address or Foothills of the Catskills or something?
I think we're good.
You sure? You're sure on that?
We're good.
Just want to make sure.
Welcome back, everyone.
I want to make sure because you had some additional information. What we have is plenty of information for you. Go over to Naira Bets. If you're not a member of Naira Bets, head on over. We'll have that deposit match sign-up bonus. Use bonus 200 as the promo code, and we will match with $200 of your initial deposit. Get with the program. Get with Naira Bets. We have an opening day here at the. We have the contest first. It's kind of out of order, right? That's a bad order. I'll blame Francisco for that.
Shocking.
Saturday contest. Well, it is his fault. This should not be second. I know you agree with that. It's a flaw. Right away, we're screwing up. $300 buy-in, all cash prizes every Saturday here at the Big A. Register at naira.com/contest. You have till tomorrow at 5 p.m., I believe. Now we can get to that win bonus. Maybe we'll switch it up for the replay at the end.
There you
10% win bonus. Don't forget to opt in. Head over at Naira Bets. Plan to take advantage of that today. Not by betting the horse that's currently 4-5 in the first race. And finally, America's Day at the Races, noon to 5:30. And I like that. I like that delay that we're hearing. That's really good. Whenever TV in here has to be turned off, if you can find it, that would be awesome. It's going to be an echo here the entire show. Do you realize that?
Echo. I mean, I don't know. I don't know what you want me to do. I have nothing. I have no control over this. I kind of think it's cool. It's almost like we're the man in the sky.
Okay, it's not. Race number 1. Why don't we take a look at the horse you have on top? It's currently 4-5. Saratoga Gaze that I picked third in here. Not exactly my kind of horse, but as we show the replay of her finishing second in her debut, why don't you tell us why you picked her?
She is not ordinarily my kind of horse either, but you just said it. Second in debut.
You don't get that caveat because you picked her today.
A lot of these have had multiple chances, namely the horse I put second, Calm Set. But I thought this filly ran very well. She outran her odds, I thought, at 9.5 to 1 first time out. That does bother me that she didn't take any money, but she ran well enough.
Well, her uncoupled stablemate won the race at a very short price, so I'm not really sure what that means.
Yeah.
But.
I don't think she took a lot of money. I thought she ran well enough. She stretches out for the second start.
Do you find that these kind of horses making their second start, stretching out from sprints to routes after running well in their debuts, that go off at short prices, do you think these are good bets, mediocre bets, or horrible bets?
I don't know.
They're horrible bets. Okay. Yeah, they're just terrible bets because you don't have any way of really knowing if this is what this horse wants to do. And I'm not saying she can't win because she clearly can win here, but she's going to be a short price in here. And I find in general these kinds of. I don't think she ran so well in her debut. She had a very good trip in there. I don't think she ran so well. And the other thing is she doesn't rate to make the lead here because I can't imagine that Javier Castellano and this horse, Calm Set, is going to let her get the lead. And this is Calm Set finishing second in her last race with the one out of sight who I've picked on top finishing third. Javier's going to go. And Javier's the kind of rider that's going to be aware that for the last 2 straight years, and it's a little strange, the rails are they're not really down to 0 on the outer. I think they're listed as being down to 0, but we did have a situation on the inner and the outer the last 2 years, the first week we raced at Aqueduct, where inside position was very important. Javier's not giving it up on Calm Set unless she falls coming out of the gate. So Saratoga Gaze is sort of doomed to an outside chasing spot from a horse Calm Set who's both good enough to win and has it. And I picked out a sight because she seems to be improving, and she draws the rail. So I don't think she can help but get that kind of rail position the whole way. And unlike the horse on the outside, I'm fully confident that she can get the distance. And I know she's going to be somewhat forwardly placed. So I thought she was the one that I wanted in here. 1, 6, and 8. I mean, you don't disagree. No. I just think the 8 is the kind of horse you're probably supposed to try to avoid. You disagree. Race number 2. We'll go back to Great Workout's debut back in April here and show that win. I'm not going to show the big trip 2 back because he ran so poorly last time out. What do you do with this horse? I can't bet him, Anthony, but obviously he can win.
I guess getting back to sprints, right? His 2 sprints are clearly his best 2 races. His debut.
No, they aren't.
You don't think his 2 sprints are his 2 best races?
I don't. I mean, he ran a similar figure at a mile and 8. You think he really ran worse in his second start against Too Early and Tear Gun in her second career start? He ran his debut. He got a.
I think his 2 best races are the sprints.
Yeah, I think that's indefensibly wrong.
Okay.
Any speed figure will
You don't
back
think
up.
his last race was this race 2 back was the best race he's ever run?
Yeah, of course.
Okay,
but I
and
don't think it's a sprint because I think his first 2 races, one at 6 furlongs, one at a mile and an eighth, and leave that stat up for a minute. His first 2 races were both similar. He just happened to beat a bad field. I mean, he beat non-competitive horses first time out. He got a 68 buyer. He followed up a mile and an eighth where he was overmatched beyond talented horses and got a 66 buyer. Time from U.S. had him with a 92 first time and a 95 second time. So the figures have him running a similar race. Clearly, his race 2 back will swamp this field. He was knocked over at the start, and he still made a good run against a very tough field. But then he comes back. He's basically eased, and now he's in for a tag for a trainer who has a decent percentage, but not a percentage is paying off on this horse at even money.
No. Look, I'm defending him, and I didn't pick him today.
Yeah, I don't think that you can use a logic that I like him going back to a sprint today.
I don't know why you can't use that logic.
Because he's seriously?
Yeah, I don't think more ground helps this horse.
Okay.
I think less ground helps him. He might not be able to run
So
any
you
more.
think if they
period.
ran 7 last time, he'd have run a similar race to the one he ran the 2 back?
No, I don't.
You do, because
No,
that's
I
what you're
don't.
saying
But I
here.
think that getting back to the sprint distances will help his cause. I don't know if it's going to be enough. I don't know if he can not run anymore. You know,
Isn't the concern with him whether or not he can run anymore?
Yeah, I just said that. I don't know if he can run anymore.
Why are we conflating it with this nonsense about the distance
Because if
of
he
the
was
race?
going long, I would have tossed him today.
But-
the fact that he's cutting back in distance, because to me, the common factor in his poor efforts has been the distance.
No, it isn't.
That's your opinion.
It's an opinion backed up by every single piece of
The
information
race
that any
2
sane
back is
handicapper
clearly
uses.
his best. The race 2
No,
back is
Anthony,
clearly
you're making
his best
stuff
race.
up. You're suggesting that you are suggesting that he ran badly last time and had something to do
No,
with
I'm
it being
not.
a
I'm
mile.
saying he runs better with less distance. I don't know what happened last time. Whatever happened last time obviously led him to be in for a quarter today with all
Okay,
his
let's
nerve
just end this
conditions.
by saying you and I couldn't possibly disagree
Okay.
more. You think that distance somehow has something to do with this. I think it's a question of trust. I believe it's wholly a question of trust. I believe that if you think Great Workout can run back to his race 2 back on the drop down, he's going to win. I think that he's not trustworthy. I think he is the horse to beat, and he's probably going to be any play that I make. But he's not a horse I want to bet on because I don't like the drop down. Todd Pletcher doesn't have great numbers with these kind of drop downs, and this horse is dropping off an absolutely hideous and
He is.
indefensibly bad performance. You've picked Litterbox.
Yeah. You know, I wish there was a little bit more speed in this race for Glitterbox as Gary Siaka knocks on the door for 1,000 wins. I don't know. I
He
feel
could
like
be
this,
out in front of that door for a while.
feel like
How long do
this
you think
horse-
he's going to be out in the front yard?
Well, Calmstead has
think
a
the
chance.
cops are gonna come
Calmstead
before-
has a chance to win the first. This
You're
horse
right.
has a
Litterbox has a chance to win
the
the second. I agree.
Yeah.
Pick them both
You know,
seconds,
This could
so.
happen today.
I can't argue with that. Make a great point.
Yeah. You have Mo Mischief. You have Hanger One. You know, can they put enough pace on? Maybe the rail runner Black Irish probably isn't fast enough, but maybe under the
Well,
gun
I think
from
the
the rail.
1 and 6 and 7 all can be
Yeah.
forward, but I don't think we're going to see. We never see a fast
No.
pace. I have to like though that he's getting himself a little bit more in the game lately.
Yeah, I do too.
And he's been in good form. I think he's a perfectly logical horse. Is Eddie F's Racing? Is that the old Pink store in Saratoga, the lobster rolls and
Yeah.
over in the yeah,
On
place is good.
Clinton.
Yeah, that place is good. Wow, it's the old Pink store. It's Holland's had that store for years. I'm going to take Forest Music, a horse that you liked before that I ridiculed you, and you were actually right.
Spirit.
2 back. Forest Spirit. Off the claim by Chris Englehart. I kind of like, I was looking up sort of weird stats. He's got some decent numbers laying him off for 2 to 6 months in situations. He's 2 for 6 at Aqueduct doing that. Claimed the horse in August, waited for Aqueduct to open up, got races to give him a shot, and he's a little bit stranger into this crew.
Yeah.
But you and I are on the same
3,
page,
4,
just in
5.
slightly
Yeah.
different orders, and we have a difference of opinion on why to play against the 5. Race number 3. Race number 3, you knew that Candy Flower was going to come out because she ran so well in the stake on Sunday. You didn't know that the horse that you and I both picked on top was going to come out as well. We'll take a look at Equal Measure and Blue Atlas coming out of this is 2 back for Blue Atlas. At this point, it's sort of superfluous. This is 2 back. She came back and won out of that race. We'll pick them up in the stretch where Equal Measure gets it done. I don't like that race, and I know that Blue Atlas came back to win, but she's such a last time was the time horse, and even with the scratches, I'm not against her, but I played against her.
She's the worst kind of the last time was the time horse either because she paid $5 last time, right?
Yeah, and it was an easier field, but
I
don't
scratch
think-
into with second. I mean, she can win. You know, with,
I don't know.
With Candy Flower out of here, there's still enough speed in here.
Well, there was always a speed. The 6 Athwack.
Yeah, Athwack and
And my horse,
Yeah,
Tass,
and
who we'll get
Tass.
to. Well, I'm shocked you don't have the top 4. Carlos might not like him.
I didn't know.
Carlos doesn't
no,
like Tass
You know
today?
my problem with this horse is I always thought this horse's races and saved this horse's, last race. And I know the figures are better, but you see Caravel. I always thought this horse wanted an abundance of ground. And
This
I don't
isn't
know
too-
if she's, Mile, no. I thought she wanted a little bit more. I don't
I
didn't know
See
what to
that
do with her.
represented her PP?
I
Okay.
didn't know what to do with her.
She wanted a mile and 16th at Belmont with an 83 buyer, the second best figure, or third best figure she's ever run. So I'm not going to.
She got away with a pretty easy
She
pace
ran her
that
best
day.
career buyer at
And
5.5 for
my biggest problem with her is she does her best work when she's controlling, and there's no shot of her controlling.
Well, that's
today.
not true. There's always a chance for controlling. I'm going to hope she's in a forward position in here. I double scratched into her. I don't love her, but I don't really trust anyone. 5 Alarm Robin off the claim for Linda Rice. Well, I don't know. She does her best running up in Saratoga. She's going to have to prove to me she can run a good race out of Saratoga. Talk about War Canoe,
Well,
who
that's
I have
that's
second.
funny. You talked about 5 Alarm Robin up in Saratoga. War Canoe does some good work here at the Big A, and
She does.
yeah,
She's finished first because she's been in the right spots.
Well, I mean,
She's run well everywhere.
you think she's not in a good spot today? I think she's
Oh,
in a good
no,
spot
I
today.
do. But, I mean, the fastest figures she has
Well,
run
you
have not
you
been
have
as
her second.
Aqueduct.
You have her second.
But,
Yeah,
but the fastest figures, the
no,
best
no, no,
races.
Well, the best race, her
that-
best days are
The
in
best
her rearview
races
mirror.
that 5 Alarm Robin has run from a figure standpoint have consistently been in
Been in
Saratoga.
Saratoga,
The 4 best figures showing the last 12 races, 75, 77, 278s. They're in Saratoga. I believe the performances are indicated by speed figures. You don't. You think it's some sort of voodoo that I don't quite understand.
I don't think it's voodoo.
Well, you do, because you somehow think distance matters in the second race. This is a horse that runs reasonably well, comes out of a race where she ran reasonably well. That was a good field last time she ran against the Laurel.
Yeah, I thought she made some sense here today. Getting back to like I said, I thought she was better at Aqueduct. There's enough speed in here for her, and
There is.
she's gonna be a good price.
Yeah, I think pace is a real question in here because I don't ever believe the pace will be fast. I do scratch into her for second. I worry a little bit, though, that the yielding turf last time may have moved her up. That she did run a better race when she ran on yielding turf than she's
That's
been running.
fair.
But, you look at the field she was running against. It was a quality field. So it's a tougher field overall than the one she's running in today. So if she can bring that form from Laurel up here also, she can do it. That's always another question. But I agree with you. I mean, once again, we don't have any way of knowing at this point if there's going to be any sort of bias in the turf courses.
Right.
And that's a very difficult thing when you're handicapping in advance for knowing you can use some information perhaps from the first couple of races. Are they on different courses versus on the inner? Yes, so we'll know more after race number 3 about the courses. A little bit more, hopefully. Race number 4, this is an entertaining maiden race for
It is.
sure. I have gone to Rock Sugar. We'll show Rock Sugar's last race in the dirt. It seems like this is a horse that, in typical Bill Mott fashion, he's searching for the right surface, the right distance. Well, they're back on the right surface. This is not a turf horse. This horse has never run well on the turf. Maybe they wanted to give the horse a race off a layoff, and that race came up. But this race, the second to risk-taking, beating the Reds, who came back and did good things out of that race. This is a very, very solid effort by him. He draws well on the outside, and I just thought he was a super logical horse, and if he could just even run back to that last dirt race, I thought he'd be tough in here, depending on what Waxman does.
Okay. He's first time sprinting. He's second off the 10-month
Yeah, we
layoff.
went through that.
second
Yeah,
time.
covered that.
I feel like I kind of seen enough of him, though I don't disagree. I
Seen
think he's
enough
back
of
on
him.
his-
He's only made 2
I
dirt
think he's
starts.
back. I think he's back on his better surface, but
Only
I
made
still
1 dry dirt track.
Yeah, I want to. I
Seen
want
enough
to.
of him.
I want to see it again. I want to see it again.
Okay, you thought Rook's Taking was going to win the Derby. You did bet him in the Derby
I-
futures,
I
right?
did.
Okay.
Yes, I did.
But
I
you've
want-
seen enough of this
I
one.
want
Okay.
to bet.
Makes
I
sense.
went back to the tip, to the first time tip, to Jimmy
Well, obviously, it was
Jerkins'
tipped.
run-up. Yeah.
6 to 5.
But this horse, he was supposed to be a good one, and obviously something went wrong because now we haven't seen him for almost 10 months. He comes back with Lasix. He went 7/8 first time out, so he's coming back going the same 7/8. He's got plenty of speed, and unless one of the firsters is really fast, I think he'll be in front. And
He looks like the speed. I agree.
yeah, we'll see.
agree.
We'll see if
Yeah,
if he
I
runs
left
to the height.
I left him out, but I won't be shocked if he runs well. I didn't like his first race, but you're absolutely right. He could absolutely win this race. I mean, Waxman's the worst you have to worry about. I mean, what do you do with Waxman? Because his first race is probably going to win this race.
Yes.
His last race was a sloppy steel track, and there is an argument watching the race that he didn't handle the track. So I won't be shocked. And he's going back to what he did first time out. And if he runs that first race, he feels like he's about 3-5 to win here.
Absolutely. And I think he's 7-5 morning line. That effort last time may be scaring a few people away, but like you said, it was going long.
No, I said if he runs his last
no.
race, he's 3-5. I didn't say he would be 3-5.
His first race.
Yeah, his first race. Yeah, I didn't say he was going to be 3-5.
No, I think he's going to be short. I think he'll be closer to even money than I think
There's
he'll
a
be
lot
close
going
to
on
even
in this
money.
race. I mean, what if your horse is live again? He was live first time. My horse is certainly dangerous in here. You've got Todd Pletcher with a first-time star in the insides. After Final Jeopardy, ran a 94 buyer. There's some pedigree on that one. A run
You left
happy.
out Governor Morris.
Yeah, Governor Morris. Governor. Is it Governor?
Gouverneur Morris. Yes. I apologize.
This
To
horse
all the
was
governors out there.
sold, worked 10 flat. At the 2-year-old sale, that was a year and a half ago, was a good workout, and he sold for $290. I wondered if he was a Klarovich horse that was sold, actually, but I don't know that for sure. And speaking of Klarovich, they've got core conviction in this race as well. I mean, this is really probably more a dirt pedigree on the dam side. And this horse did lose to a good horse when he ran first time out.
he
Chad
did.
tries some dirt. You can't dismiss this horse.
I don't
I
disagree.
mean, you don't. You know.
No, I don't.
I mean, this is a dangerous race. You go through one up, you got a $400,000 sugar horse that we're not going to use. You know, even Disco Pharaoh.
255 for
Plus
Ray Handel.
255, right? And then Starry Night, great name. This is an interesting horse. I've got this horse second as a wise guy horse of the day. We'll watch. I think some of his race at Laurel. He's going to get completely and totally left, and he gets completely steadied out. He is now all the way back to last at this point. I'm trying to find him. He is the last horse on the outside, number 5. He's number 5 who's last on the outside. He's got completely eliminated. He is going to make a monster second quarter run, and assuming those times are correct, no reason to believe they aren't, they went 23-1 that second quarter. He went around a 22 second quarter, 22-2 second quarter rushing up. Why? It's no surprise that he was basically eased after that. Somewhere in there's some ability. Now, he may have found himself in the most difficult maiden special weight we're going to run for older horses this fall, but that was some move this guy made, and I thought it was worth noting.
These are the races we talk about, right, that produce some of the really nice horses we've seen come out of this fall meet. You know what's funny? I was requested to watch this race for a different reason 2.5 weeks ago, and when I realized when you just put this video up, I realized who this horse was. This was a heck of a move he made in the middle part of this race, and then he just going a mile. He flattened out.
All right. Race number 5. A lot going on in race number 4. Kicks off the pick 6, by the way. There's no carryover in the pick 6. So,
it's
a tough sequence on Sunday, huh?
Yeah.
Was hit, but it was not an easy sequence.
Congratulations.
Race number 5. No doubt in race number 5, this horse graded a curve, and we'll go back to November of last year at Aqueduct. He runs this race. He's going to win. Frankly, he probably runs the race he ran at the West Point. Good trip or not, he's probably going to win this race. I picked against him, but I'm not against him.
Yeah, I couldn't pick against him.
Soon to be a 6-year-old gelding.
He's soon to be a
45,000, no conditions left for New York breds, and $1 a 2 opens. Where's he going?
Here you go. You want him for 45,000.
Yeah, the turf season.
Sure, they'll give you the shank too when you take him out of the cleaning box tonight. Yeah, I mean his last 3 races are just faster than everything except Mo Reddy's race.
Yes, he's way the horse to beat.
Way the horse to beat. I
totally
don't want to
trust
take
him.
any chances.
Well,
I don't know. You see, I don't think you can totally trust him, but on the scale of
no,
trust.
No, it's not. No, I just
I have no issues
rarely
with for
runs,
everything for the picture you painted.
Yeah, no.
Right? He's going to be 7 in
I'm going to try to beat
8
him,
weeks.
Beat him with Matty's Express, who's the speed here. Jose Lozcano, just go to the front with him and hope for the best. You look at his last race. This horse was wide around the track, a race that was totally dominated up front. Time before that, got involved and went much tougher horses. I think his races up in Saratoga were okay. He's improved. And I thought he was the lone interesting horse to take as an alternative. He's the only horse in here that I could make a kind of case that he could take a step forward and maybe beat this field. He can control on the front end, which he's supposed to.
Yeah, I mean, he's supposed to. I don't know who else could. I mean, I guess the only other horse, if they want to protect inside, and you're right, and we'll see how the courses are playing. He's not as fast as him, but maybe Mo Reddy.
Well, he can go and be sitting on the rail behind him, sure.
Yeah.
Dancing with the Stars improved in Saratoga. I worry a little bit with him. We haven't seen him since Saratoga. Where's he been for 2.5 months? And do we trust him to find that form in New York that he found in Saratoga?
No, but he
improved.
really improved
No
with
doubt.
each and every start up there. Even though the buyout went from 84 to an 81. I mean, he got beat 3 1/4 lengths to Sifting Sands and Open Company horses.
I agree, improved. On the other hand, I still don't think it's good enough to be that
It
competitive.
might not be. It might not be. He'd have to. Well, I'll say this: he'll have to take another step forward to even get into the conversation.
He drew well on the inside.
But I think he can.
Should get a good trip in this race, even
Yep.
if of course they're playing fair. We'll see what happens. Race number 5. Take a quick break. We'll be back with the late pick 4.
No sport in the world brings the wins home like racing. It's one-of-a-kind, high-speed, high-stakes action, and Naira Bets takes you there. Place your bets and watch the races live from anywhere. With Naira Bets, make easy, secure deposits and promotions every day to earn reward points or cash. Download the Naira Bets app or visit NairaBets.com.
Welcome back to Talking Horses. Opening day at Aqueduct, the Big A Anthony Stabile and A Serling. There's some delays in the trains coming out here, but
Really?
Acacia gave me the update, so I was totally chill reading my book. I was shocked. You had been shocked at how sort of rationally and well I behaved.
Rational?
Yeah, no. Given my normal
I
state of
don't know if-
circumstances,
I don't
was
know if I'm buying
I was
this,
totally
man.
fine. No, I was. Acacia was giving me updates, so she
me
was ahead of me. She was
Took
ahead
me
of
a whole 6 minutes to get here today.
There you go. Race number 6. Let's start with Gunboat down the inside. The
Okay.
turnback, who's what is he? 9-2 on the line. 5-2.
Came down.
Can't tell. How good was this race? Shad Nation turned out to run a stinker the next time he ran. I don't love these kind of turnbacks. Sugar has decent enough numbers with turnbacks overall, though he's 1 for 8 with maidens. And I don't know.
I know we don't worry too much about the speed figures with the 2-year-olds on turf, but isn't this horse kind of slow?
No, his speed figures are pretty much in line with everybody else's.
Okay.
I mean, they're not significant. I think the question with isn't it the bigger question with
Her.
him whether or not you're confident. Thank you, Kyle, for turning that off. I think the bigger question is whether or not you're concerned with the distance,
Right.
isn't it?
Yeah. Well, I mean, he ran a mile on the 16th twice, and now she's cutting back to 3/4 of a mile, obviously.
It is a war pass.
Yeah. You and I are kind of on the same
for me.
boat, no pun intended. She's going to beat me today.
She's going to beat me as well.
Yeah.
I just thought there were more interesting horses. We'll look at the Vaccine of Hope race. I'm curious. You have Vaccine of Hope on top, and you don't have Naysay, who finished just behind her anywhere. Why?
Yeah, I could have slept that. I also want to point out that there's a late equipment change here on both Wesley Ward runners. Blinkers off both of
Yeah,
these
Wesley
horses.
has to stop doing crap like that.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. Wesley's a great trainer.
No,
I have great admiration for him. This
I
crap
don't
happens
disagree.
with Wesley way too often, and it's unfair to horse players. You need to get the information in when you put the horses in, Wesley. It's not right. See, I think while they both can win, Vaccine of Hope speed maybe helps him her a little bit. Naysay was the one who comes out of this race, to me, is the one that needed the race more.
Okay.
So I think she has more room to improve. I thought that Vaccine of Hope was just a little bit more race prepared, and they both ran well enough. I would prefer Vaccine of Hope because of the position, but I couldn't use one without the other.
Okay. I probably should have this horse in there.
Yeah.
I have a couple of tips in here.
Oh, you do? Well, go ahead.
I have a tip on the 5, super flattering for Cherie DeVoe.
Divining Rod is a turf
Divining
sire.
well.
huh?
The dam was 6 for 12 overall, 5 for 11 on the turf.
She was.
This is the first foal. And yes, while I don't know what Divining Rod is going to
She
do
ran
on
an
the
81 buyer. She was no killer. You know,
Okay.
she was okay.
and the 12. I heard this horse is training very, very well.
Well, aren't you worried about the post this
Willock,
horse has?
yes, I am a little bit. But I was given a pretty good push.
And
on
how's
this
the
horse.
pedigree on this one?
Dam was 1 for 2 on the turf. Not much.
The second dam was a very, very good turf horse. More routes than anything else.
I was
Interesting-
given a big story on this horse.
Okay. Interesting to see Stone Street with Graham Motion. I don't feel like
I
I've
was
seen-
given a big story on. Yeah, that was. It was. I was given a big story on this horse.
Okay. So we can throw the 5 and 12 out, basically, because Anthony's tips have been horrendous.
Well, we'll see.
Well, I mean, has that 6 horse of Clemente had a tip on Sunday? Is that one finished yet?
Where did the other tip finish?
Second, beaten 5 lengths at 2-1.
I'm just. I forgot.
Everybody had the tip in the 8. You had that special information. I thought Always Connected ran fairly well first time out. Mm-hmm. And should be forward in this race as well. And I think that's going to help that horse's chances. But I'm going to go in a different direction. You know, Adeli is sort of an interesting horse because she is a half to Baron Samedi,
2 mile winner.
who won the Belmont Gold Cup. Yet that Nimrod, Christophe Clement, is starting this horse out at 6 furlongs first time. And I'm a counterintuitive guy.
Man,
When
you're,
this horse-
you're rough on this guy.
No, he knows I'm kidding. No, I'm making a joke. In other words, the guy is a great trainer, and he's starting a horse out that he clearly knows is a half-to horse that won a 2-mile race at 6 furlongs, and he is not a trainer that's afraid, nor is he not a trainer that he's had plenty of success starting 2-year-olds out going long on the turf, but he chooses a sprint. And I looked up Christophe Clement's records for what it's worth since we started running turf sprints for 2-year-olds here, which was just 2 years ago. It's only been 2 years of that because that's when the outer turf course came in. He is 3 for 4 for what it's worth.
Here at Aqueduct.
At Aqueduct, with
Wow.
2-year-old debuters going first time out with a $10.35 ROI. So he has had these horses run, and this is, it's a non-sample, but it does show that he has had,
Cocapelli.
sometimes you just feel like a
Right?
trainer.
And Cocapelli was short, so there must have been a real big price in there.
No, there were 2 horses that paid middling prices, but it's only $10. It means there's $30, $31 worth of payouts for
3
horses, $40. So
right.
both pay around $17, $18. But reason I think it's important is when you have a trainer like Christophe Clement, and you'll see this with other trainers, they run out of bullets by the time we get here with their turf horses. And the fact is that he has, at least in the past 2 years, still had some bullets. We'll see
Well,
how it
he
works
did.
out.
Remember, was he leading trainer here last fall?
Not possible. I couldn't be leading trainer in Mahoning. I don't have a turf course. Race number 7. I thought race number 7 was
I think he won the title here last year.
tough. Then I feel sorry for the guy who finished second. He's probably quit training by now. He's probably gone into a completely different line of work. Repo Rocks.
So
Okay,
sick.
so Repo Rocks, we'll look at finishing second 2 races back. Ran very well in here. One Whirlwind Ride. Had a bit of a trip in here and well and ran 4th. I'm most interested in how you don't have Repo Rocks 1, 2, 3, 4 in this race.
I wrote the number wrong. I was supposed to have him 4th.
But 4th. Okay, so why is he relegated to 4th?
I feel like I've seen enough.
Of him running
Another one.
races better than
Well,
everybody else in
the
this
West
race?
Profile race was good, and then why'd they run this horse on the turf last
Well,
time?
I don't know why they ran him, but now he's back in the dirt. I'll tell you what I'm concerned.
I don't like that move.
I'll tell you what I'm concerned about. This is why I am concerned with him. This trainer is 1 for 30 over the last 31 days of racing, and this was a stat I looked up a couple of days ago. So this is a barn that I know they're only 10%, but it's a barn that has gone extraordinarily cold recently.
Okay.
I think he's the horse to beat in here, and I'm not sure. So you don't like Rocco Strong. He should be 8.
It should be
2-1-5-8.
It should be 2-1-5-8. Yeah.
Okay.
Sorry about that.
We'll look at Charlie 5-0. Isn't he kind of a last time was the time horse?
Yes and no.
Well, apparently not, because I know that you like to pick horses off wins.
If you take his 2 turf races and his 2 wet track races off his card, he's 3 for 5 on fast ground. I know one of his wet track races was just as good, but this horse is
Doesn't
just
seem to really matter.
he's a model of consistency on the dirt in these starter races that you rarely see that. I mean,
Beat
this
Glory
horse is-
Road last time.
I understand that, but if you look at the 2 times this horse got beat, didn't run well on the dirt, it was when Dr. K rode that crazy bias and got in front of him when he was 3 to 5, and in his debut. His other races, are all good enough to be right there today.
No, I've got him 3rd. I don't particularly like him, but I
I know you
third.
don't
I
like
think
betting
that
the
wins.
horses off wins, but
I just don't think he's that good. I think 12th
Okay.
man. At the end of the day, I just think 12th man's a better horse.
He might be.
He comes out of a race where he chased a horse that ran like a wildebeest last time. I worry that his lack of speed could work against him, but you look at the races and the figures he's run, they're just overall faster than the horses in here. I don't think it's the reason he's 2 to 1. I just think I honestly think he might just be the best horse in the race. I don't think I'm covering any particular clever ground.
And he might be.
I mean,
I don't.
I just disagree. The only thing I disagree with you in this race is Charlie O can win. Is that I don't understand how you've Repo Rocks nowhere because he's got nothing but races to go in here. The only problem with him is he's 1 for 16, but he's the horse to beat. And the good thing about the 2 is he is a multiple winner in a race where you've got a lot of 1-firsts. And
I gravitate towards
particularly-
those. I gravitate towards
Well,
those.
you didn't because you didn't mention it, but okay. Race number 8.
I said he was 3 for 5.
Race number 8's a tough race. Race number 8's a tough race.
I think 6 horses could win this race. I really do.
I thought there were.
I really do. And I had such a tough
There were
time.
10.
here.
There were 10 in here.
There were, but I thought 6 of them could win.
Who can't win?
I didn't really prefer.
Who
the horse-
can't win?
I really didn't prefer the horse you had on top.
That's a horrible opinion, but okay.
And I don't like
So
Quid.
2 can't win.
I don't think
The 11
I don't
can't
think
win.
the
Who
2
else
and the
can't
11
win?
can- I think
We got
that's
2
it.
more that can't win.
I think that's it.
So 8 can win. And in that 8, So you think
No,
you think
7 can win.
Okay,
It's only
7. So
field
you
of 11.
think that
Amano might
space
have
launch?
Amano might have a tough time.
I just want to say, in all seriousness, it's a
And
very
probably space. Yeah, space was-
emotionally special moment for me that you've finally given up on space launch. After picking him 3 straight times,
I'm sick. I don't. You know what?
you've
I
actually
have a
moved
little-
on from.
I have
I
a
know this is a
vendetta.
big day for you.
I have a vendetta with Christoph over this horse
This is a big because he's not that good, and you thought he was good.
No, and he's also done this twice to me. He did. You
To
were
you.
on vacation.
To you.
He scratched him off the turf, and at some point, I want to see him run this horse on the dirt.
Okay, well, tell him.
I did.
Okay, I'm sure he.
You don't listen.
Shocking, he wouldn't listen.
So
to you.
what I did in here was I had a tough time with the race.
Clearly,
I went to the horse who I think has to control, and who was given a very curious ride the only time he was stretched out.
I don't disagree with that.
He should. I mean, how he wasn't in front on those with that pace
we're
cut last
crawling,
time.
he should have gone.
Yeah, it was stunning to me.
I
And
agree. He's got to go, and if
He's
the
gotta
turf is
go.
favoring is inside, he's a dangerous horse.
Johnny's
I left
gonna
him
put him
out.
on a lead.
I don't trust him at 9 furlongs, and I think that the horse that's beat are going to get good position. But I agree. I can understand.
But
the
don't you
logic
feel
of
like
bringing
them running him? I feel like John Terranova.
John
running this
Terranova
horse
told
again.
Dave Brenning he thinks he wants to run all day. A lot of trainers think a lot of things that turn out not to be true.
No, I
that
don't
doesn't mean that
disagree with
John's wrong,
But
and
what
I
I'm
respect
saying
John.
is,
But
right off that race where we both agree he was ridden incorrectly, that was a mile. Now he's giving him another furlong. So I'd have to imagine.
but then he took him back to 6 furlongs next time. Can he win? I suppose. I didn't like his last
Well, he
race
tried him
at
against.
all.
I mean, you're not going to pass up the 100,000 against straight 3-year-old sprinting. And now those stakes races are kind
You're
of
not
done.
going to pass up the $100,000.
You're not going to pass up the.
Well, why weren't there 20 horses entered in that race?
I don't know,
I'm confused.
but I think he did the right thing.
You seem to make things up. This
Why
is
are
a
you
tra-
gonna,
because
hold on a
this,
second. Why aren't you going to try and do what the horse has done successfully in the
but he hadn't
past?
done it successfully.
He got beat a neck, a nose. He won by
Hadn't
5.
done it successfully. We don't have enough time to argue the stupidity of that. We'll talk about it privately afterwards.
Okay.
Regardless,
I want him just trying to lead him on a merit chase.
that's
here.
fine. No, that's fine. I don't think
At a
there's any
decent
argument.
price.
We'll take a look at the one St. Joe Louis in this race. He draws well on the inside. I thought he ran well in this race. This was at a time period when the rail was a very big advantage on the inner turf course, and they took the rail down. He was never on it. He broke a step slow. He was 2 wide in the first turn, 2 to 3 wide in the second turn. I thought he ran fine in here. He draws well on the inside today. Irad's not going to leave the rail until he absolutely has to, if he ever does.
If he has to.
And he's the horse to beat in here. I'm not in love with this horse. He's never run that well, but I think he can absolutely win here, and I thought his last race was absolutely good enough to
Agree.
win. We'll move on, and we'll quickly go to the replay of King Cause's last turf race, 2 back. This was a race coming off a 13-month layoff, and it was a race where the pace incinerated in the late stages. And Irad Ortiz, as it turned out in result, and I'm not looking to crucify him for it, but he moved too soon. And that's why he lost. He moved too soon. He opened up in mid-stretch, and he got a little leg weary. He's coming off a long layoff. Turf. I don't know, yielding was probably closer to good. What is your problem with this horse?
I didn't think he ran poorly 2 back. I don't think he brought his form back from the long layoff. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I'm wrong about him.
Wow.
I don't know.
I
I thought, I'll be
couldn't
honest with
agree
you, I
more.
thought he's run well enough on the dirt in the past that last race was not a good sign. I know he went fast and it was his
Okay,
second
we
start.
disagree. That's
Yeah.
fine. But we don't have time to argue this.
I think Hidden Enemy's a little interesting in here as well.
How is he interested?
I don't know. He gets the 9 furlongs and.
So
if-
let's see. The
if-
2 and 11 can't win. So there's 7.
That's what I don't. This two.
Don't you have a
11,
concern
7,
that horses
6.
like the 2 was running against 3-year-olds in the same manner that Space Launch was running against 3-year-olds? Never explained his scratch. Ombre comes out of a 3-year-olds as well. Now, in fairness, Ombre actually ran pretty well last time out. I think he's a dangerous horse in here. Ombre.
And you know what I'm going to say to you? He's going to be the one to inherit Ranger Fox. Should Ranger Fox not want the distance, he'll be the first one. If Ranger Fox doesn't want to
I'm
go
not
this
certain
far,
I agree with any of that, and I don't think that matters in
Okay.
racing. I think Royal Speaker has to be discussed in here. I thought he ran extremely well last time, and this was not a race that we take a look at that had any real pace in it, and he was still able to win. Now, is he running against? That's a cue for the replay, please.
he's running against much better now, right, Andy? I mean, or he's running against potentially much better.
We ran an 88 buyer last
did.
time and a 118 time form U.S. rating. If he runs back to this race, he's going to be a handful in this race if he works out the right trip, depending on how the track is playing. And the track may play a role in a lot of these turf races today, and that's something that we can't control. And really, the riders can't control that much. They're at the mercy of their position in the races. But there's no denying his last race was good. I think Click Attack's actually pretty good. And he ran him down fair and square, and Click Attack had all the best of it there. I mean, you talk about horses coming in the race in good form. He is the one coming in this race in the best form. He's improved with every start. I'm going to add our friend Louis Lasnero's horse to the ones that can't win. I have no idea how you think of Mono.
No, I said that. I said probably the 6.
Yeah,
I cut it down to 5.
I hope we're wrong. I always want
me
Louis
too.
to do well, but I don't see how that horse fits in this race. Race number 9. Number 9.
Number 9.
I
picked the number 9.
I like a horse that you don't like at all, the 2 Kemba. And I think it's just very simple. We'll go back to Kemba's race on May 23rd. She's finally in a race where she's the speed. And we'll see. I just think they're supposed to go with this horse. She's got inside position. She's the speed. And the reality is on a fair racetrack, I would pick her in here because I think she can wire the field. I think she's faster than the horses on the outside, and I just think it's a very simple case that Dylan Davis has to be determined to go because when she's controlled on fair racetracks, when she's controlled, she's been a completely different horse than when she hasn't been able to make the lead. So I believe she can lose, but they're supposed to lose with the
you're supposed to lose with her best weapon. Absolutely.
Right.
Absolutely. You're supposed to lose with her best weapon. No question about it.
So you have the...
I have the horses you have second and third.
You have
Nayyus.
We'll take a look at Nayyus Can't Leave. And here, you've taken horse Claim from your man, Rob.
For my man, Tom Morley. Tell my man. Now, I don't like the fact that they're dropping this horse, but this is what you're supposed to do. You're supposed to claim in the maiden race, you're supposed to cut the horse in half. They're running this horse in the 2 Life for 30. It's kind of what you're supposed to do.
It wasn't the 22 Life. The problem with this horse is that she's coming out of a terrible race. Second horse was 100 to 1. She came back and ran 11 Beyer points net worse in her next start. This was a hungry field. The favorite, who was making it close in those Clarivate Silks on the outside, did very little running in this race. And now she's claimed by a guy. We have a stat for Rob Masiello. Not Rob Masiello. I'm sorry, for Rob Falcone. A lot of Robs. Rob has very good numbers off the claim on the turf. His numbers are better with sprinters than they are routers, but his numbers are still pretty good with routers. So it's a good claim in that sense, but as you say, claim from Tom Morley, whose horses just ran tremendously at Belmont. So even if you think Rob's doing a good job, not going to move this horse up from him.
No,
Draws
probably
well
not.
on the inside, and I think a lot of contenders drew towards the outside, and that was a problem. I don't know what to do with perhaps tonight. But Papa Bubbly scratched because he's entered again. She's entered again, I think, on Saturday maybe, but not convinced that race has to be run on the turf. She's also eligible in that race. You wouldn't know that, but that's information I'm giving out to the others.
Perhaps tonight is the interesting one because her races 2 and 3 back are just they're going to beat this field unless Kemba gets loose.
Well, she was terrible
last
time.
And terrible on avoided claim.
She was awful in her last
and
start.
We haven't seen her for 2 months, and you didn't see her for 7 weeks before that.
Yeah,
so
she's a little tough to take. And I just didn't see anybody.
Well, you're not going to leave her out. I mean, obviously, right? You're using her on any. You're making them pick 4, late pick 5, or pick 6. You're using them because
I'm leaving her out. I don't like her.
You got a third.
Okay, but
I'm just using 1s and 2s.
You can't just say that every race isn't the same. There may be races where I'm using 6
me
horses.
too, but I mean, isn't
no? I like the 2 in this race.
Okay.
I like the 2 in this race. I like Kemba.
All right.
It's my position.
So you're playing a pick 4, and if let's say for argument's sake, you're playing a pick 4, you're not using. You're not using
5.
1 and 10. You're using 1 and 2 rather.
I just hone in on the 2.
Okay.
I think I would start out at pick 5 with Great on a Curve and Maddie's Express, my main 2.
Okay.
I would probably spread a bit in the 6th race.
The 2-year-old race, right? Okay.
I would lean on the 5 and 8, maybe a little 2 in the 7th race and backups. I would use mostly the 1, 2, and 8 in race number 8, though maybe 4 and 10 would be like C types. And the 2 would be my A, maybe the 1 a B, and probably the 10 is C or something like that. I don't really. I after this race, the only horse I really liked was the 2. I wanted to stay towards the inside. We'll see what happens. Fun card today. Glad to be back here at the Big A. A week delayed. I mean,
but we're here.
No, but we're here now. I know
that's all
what matters. We're here now.
Yeah, we got to focus on a positive. Guys, focus on a positive. I've been focusing on that this week. Focus on a positive. Been trying to. Anyway.
And believe me, it's not easy. Anyway, head over to Naira Bets. If you're not a member of Naira Bets, go to NairaBets.com. Use the promo code BONUS200, and we will match them to $200 of your initial deposit. Play through Naira Bets. Support the game in New York and support racing. Keep the money in the game. Can't be anything more important than that. 10% win bonus. Look at Francisco, how easily he just slid into fixing that. You know, that's one of the many things we like about Francisco. He's a man that On the rare occasions, he maybe makes a small mistake. But to be fair, he said it to me, and I didn't correct him. So the mistake is really just as much
Leave the
mine
guy
as
alone.
his. I love Francisco. He's a wonderful man. 10% win bet bonus. Opt in. I opted in. What did it take? About 5 seconds?
You
Idiot
can do
like
it.
me.
Anyone can.
Yes, that is correct. Excellent. Free money here through Naira Bets on opening day here at Aqueduct. Celebrating. We should have a cake, don't you think? I love a cake. Aqueduct Saturday
eating
contest, $300 buy-in, all cash prizes. You have until 5 o'clock tomorrow. Go to Naira.com/contests. And finally, America's Day at the Race continues here at the Big A, 12 to 5:30, all the action here, and all the action at Churchill Downs as well. FS2, Anthony, it's a pleasure, as always, to be with you.
See you tomorrow.
I will see you tomorrow, and hopefully I'll see you every racing day,
Can't
pretty
wait.
much, at least that I'm here. Johnny I, the voice of New York racing, he's up next with a reprise, the Scratches and Changes. Have a great day. Opening day, the Big A.